Okay, so we'll start with synthetic addition polymer. Synthetic addition polymerization. Synthetic addition polymerization. So আমরা মাত্রই পড়লাম যে examples are polyethylene, polypropylene, polybutene, polyvinyl chloride, and there are others too. So এখান থেকে we can understand that since it's just poly of ethene, poly of propene, and polybutene, so it's basically you add up different alkenes. You add up different alkenes. Okay, you add up different alkenes. So amra let's start with polyethylene. So what is the structure of an ethene? How many carbons does an ethene have? Two carbons. So this is ethene. So let's draw these. So we call this a polyethylene. We call this a polyethylene. Why is it a polyethylene? Because there are numerous numbers of ethene molecules which are joined together. Bonds joining the monomers. Okay. So how many monomers are joined here?
3.
How many monomers are joined here?
3.
3 monomers are joined here. So normally we do not need to draw 3 monomers. If they specify us that you have to draw 3 monomers, then you have to draw 3 monomers. Normally they don't specify. Normally they do not specify. So ekhane what does this n means? N means number of repeat units. So what can be the value of n? It could be 10, it could be 50, it could be 100, it could be 10,000, 1,000, anything. Did you ask anything?
Is 1 unit 1 monomer?
Yes, this 1 unit is 1 monomer. This 1 unit is 1 monomer. And in this polymer, you have 3 monomers joined together. Any questions?
Sorry, is N3 in polyethylene?
No.
So
Polyethylene.
N is
So if I describe this, you're gonna be, it's gonna help you out. So types of polyethylene: low density polyethylene, high density polyethylene. So example of low density polyethylene are polythene bags. Our high density polyethylene are like ওই যে lock and lock box আছে না তোমাদের বাসায়, lock and lock box,
স্যার যেটা টিফিন বাটি হিসেবে ইউজ হয়,
যেটা টিফিন বাটি হিসেবে ইউজ হয়, those are high density polyethylene. So obviously just from the name তোমরা বুঝতে পারছো যে একটাতে অনেকগুলা, there are more number of ethenes than the other. So polyethylene can range from 100 to 10 thousands to millions. So eta bola jay na. So in this case, in this example, there are three ethene molecules which are joined together. Did you get my point?
yes, sir.
Sir, could you repeat?
Yeah, sure. What's your question?
About the low density and the high density polyethylene.
Low density and high density polyethylene. So low density polyethylene means that per unit volume, you have less number of ethene. High density polyethylene means per unit area or per unit volume, you have more number of ethene molecules. So one of the example of low density polyethylene are polythene bags which we use in our markets. So তুমি বাজার করবা, তোমাকে একটা পলিথিন ধরাই দিবে. That is low density polyethylene. Obviously এগুলোর অনেক গ্রেড আছে, অনেক হিসাব আছে, আমরা will not go into that. And then you have high density polyethylene, যেমন plastic jugs, plastic boxes, যেগুলা it's hard, যেমন lock and lock plastic boxes which we use, airtight plastic boxes which we use in our houses. These are made up of high density polyethylene. So there's no fixed number of repeat units, or there's no fixed number of monomers in a particular polymer. Polypropylene. So have a very close look at the structure of propene. Very close look at the structure of propene. So propene dekho je you have 3 carbons. This is carbon number 1, this is carbon number 2, and this is carbon number 3. So this carbon is linked to the first carbon. This is the first carbon, this is the second carbon, and this is your third carbon. This carbon is bonded to number 1, number 2, number 3. And this carbon is bonded to 1, 2, 3, and 4. So which basically shows that carbon number 1 and carbon number 2 still has a space to accommodate more atoms. It still has more space to accommodate more atoms. So এখানে দেখো যে if I want to add something similar to this, তখন কি হবে?
Sir, the double bond will break, right?
the double bond will break. Yes. Yes. So Amra, again, let's draw something like a green. A green, a brown, and a red. We have hydrogen here. You have hydrogen here. You have hydrogen here. Hydrogen, 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 hydrogen. So this carbon has space. Blue there. This carbon has space. This carbon has space. Does this carbon have space to accommodate more atoms?
No.
No, sir.
This carbon has space. This carbon has space. Does this carbon have does it have space to accommodate more?
Sir, it does.
Can it accommodate more?
Sir, Aita burger.
No. I didn't draw this. So now can it accommodate more?
No, sir, it can't.
So what do we do?
No, sir.
What do we do? So what happens is we have to redraw this structure. We have to redraw this structure. How? Etake amra basically we have to draw it like carbon with a carbon bonded like this. This has a hydrogen here. This has a hydrogen here. This has a hydrogen here. And a pura jinishটাকে আমরা কি করব? We will write it as CH3. We basically it's like a hinge, and we using that hinge we bend it into the lower part. Are you clear? আমরা কিন্তু কিছুই চেঞ্জ করি নাই। আমরা basically this was before it was on the right on the side. আমরা instead of keeping it on the side we put it here. বুঝছো?
Yes, sir.
We have done no change. They are not isomers. They are not isomers. I have just, rather than keeping it here, I have shifted down. Plus, it's again a green carbon and a brown carbon, which are bonded like this. And where do we put the red carbon? At the bottom. Now, see, this carbon has, the carbons which are bonded to the double bonds are now exposed next to each other. They're now exposed next to each other. So if we break the double bond, how many carbon is this? Sorry, how many other atom is this carbon bonded to? 1,
3.
1, 2, 3. So he still has space for another atom, right? So look at this carbon. It has 1, this has 2, this has 3. So this has still space for another atom. So then what happens is they join together. They join together. So now have they form a polymer? Have they form a polymer?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So তোমাদের মনে রাখতে হবে যে তোমাদের whenever you have carbon-carbon double bonds, your carbon-carbon double bonds has to be next to each other. It has to be next to each other. So this is like a hack. So in addition, polymerization, the carbon-carbon double bond has to be next to each other. So তোমাদের homework. Your homework is Homework is you have to draw polybutene. You have to draw polybutene. Homework is you have to draw polybutene. So first তোমরা butene আঁকবা। Butene আঁকার পরে there are 2 examples. Actually but 1N. One is but 1N. Actually but 2N. এই দুইটার এক্সাম্পল আঁকতে হবে। সো একটা হবে পলি বিউট 1N, আরেকটা হবে পলি বিউট 2N. Polybute 1N and polybute 2N.